Guys, today we will talk about proof of authority and delegated proof of stake. So, firstly, let's go for proof of, let's go with proof of authority. Proof of authority, actually, both of them, they are sacrifices decentralization for performance by relying on pre-approved validators whose real-world identities are known and verified. So, actually, uh, blockchain technology we sell, it is solving centralization problem, but the thing is that proof of authority and the delegated proof of stake, there is the problem is, uh, we can say that it's centralized. Firstly, we are choosing a validator. A governance process selects validators based on the reputation, identity verification, and trustworthiness. So, these validators take turns creating blocks in a deterministic order. So, identity requirements, they are verifying their identity publicly. uh, they have a clean reputation in the community. So for sure they are meeting the technical requirements. I mean, uh, compared to proof of work and proof of stake, uh, they have extremely high performance. It is, in this system, block times are predictable. There is actually really less computational cost. It's really less. Uh, so the thing is that the disadvantage of proof of authority, it is centralized control. I mean, the validators. I mean, even a validator set contradicts blockchain decentralization. Uh, Decentralization thing. So blockchain, from the first week, from the beginning of the course, we are saying that it is solving centralization problem, but proof of authority, as I said before, it is known validator set. This contradicts blockchain decentralization uh, thing. So it is directly relies on trusting the validator selection process. That's it. So for I said this is centralized, but still it is used in some system like private or consortium or blockchains, government applications. Uh, because we are choosing authority in the system. It is used for sure in government applications. So the second one is a delegated proof of stake. We can think delegates are elected, delegates validate and produce new blocks, consensus is reached, and the process restarts. So it's actually basically it's working like that. But if we talk about delegated proof of stake in a detail, so it introduces representative democracy to blockchain. Actually, token holders vote for a limited number of delegates. Also, we call them witnesses, validators, the block producers. So, but we can say that delegates who are responsible for validating transaction and creating blocks. So, firstly, there is an phase, is election phase. Token holders vote for delegates using their tokens as voting power. So delegation, for example, we are saying that the top end delegates, for example, it can be 20, 30, 100. So block production delegates take turns producing blocks. In a scheduled fashion. Then delegates earn block reward and share with their voters. uh, I said in election phase, for example, there are some voting mechanisms in here. The, the system, there are some voting mechanisms. One of them is continuous voting. In this voting system, token holders can change votes anytime. It's continuously they are voting. You can think like that. Weighted voting also. Voting power, it depends on their proportion. I mean, it depends on their token holdings. So proxy voting in this system. The third one is proxy voting. Token holders can delegate their voting power to others. So uh, like proof of authority, I mean, this is not directly centralized, but still it is, we can say that the reduced decentralization. I mean, it is not like it is not like proof of authority. Proof of authority is directly centralized. This is centralized by the democracy, we can say that. So because there is a voting fast. So uh, as proof of authority, the energy efficient is perfect. It is giving high performance. Transaction costs are low. Block times are so fast. Um, I mean, these are the advantages, but as I said before, there's a disadvantage. There are some disadvantages. One of them, I mean, one of them is reduced decentralization. I mean, uh, it is not centralized. It is not it is not a totally decentralized system. It is, we can say that, centralized by the democracy. I mean, some validators, for example, they can buy some votes. I mean, delegates might offer bribe to token holders for votes. I mean, for example, this is a risk. There are some disadvantages uh, in this consensus mechanism as well. Guys, proof of the difference between proof of authority and proof of the delegated proof of stake. Uh, these are actually these are we can say centralized. I mean, centralized blockchain solve centralization problem. I mean, but in this consensus mechanism, proof of authority completely centralized. Delegated proof of stake is centralized by the democracy. I mean, these are they are giving high performance. I mean, maybe performance wise, they are better than proof of work and proof of stake. But the thing is that, and I mean, it contradicts blockchain, blockchain decentralized thing. That's why, I mean, these are the disadvantages. Uh, these are the disadvantages of proof of authority and delegated proof of stake. So we talked about proof of work, proof of stake, proof of authority, and the delegated proof of stake. So there are some others as well, but I just these are the majors. Uh, there are some others as well. Yeah, you can search for them. But I'm finishing the consensus mechanisms in here. So as I said before, these are the top four. I can say that. So I'm finishing the this part of the class for today, guys.